Greetings, my siblings in Christ. I wanted to just offer a quick video. Currently on social media, there is an ongoing conversation about a pastoral letter that I wrote to the associations in Connecticut. I want to offer a couple of points of clarity. The letter was written to associations in Connecticut because it had come to my attention that some of our associations and local churches were going to be discussing at their spring meetings, encouraging delegates to vote against the dissolution of the Missionary Society of Connecticut. My pastoral letter to those associations, or to the Association of Connecticut, was merely to clarify that we're not dissolving the historic conferences. The goal would be to merge all of the historic conferences into the Southern New England Conference so that we can just be one conference. Currently, there are 5 corporations: the Missionary Society of Connecticut, the Historic Massachusetts Conference, Historic Rhode Island Conference, the Southern New England Conference, and the Legacy Corporation of the Southern New England Conference. The behind the scenes work of that is a lot of duplication of efforts, multiple audits, all of those kind of things. So our goal was to just try to streamline some of the behind the scenes. These are things that as local churches and associations, people don't always experience, because you experience the Southern New England Conference. But on staff, there are a lot of inner workings and negotiations to be able to try to lead with 5 different organizations sort of happening simultaneously. So that was the intent of the letter. That's why the letter didn't go to Massachusetts and Rhode Island folks. And I also want to own and apologize that technological issues prevented in our database it from going to all association leaders in Connecticut. So if you were missed in that, please know that charge it to our database and not to the intent of not communicating with you. My goal is to have a conversation on Zoom, not this coming week, but the week after, where we'll explain this merger process a little bit more in detail. At this point, I'm thinking the conversation will be between myself, our board chair, Persephone Hall, and Dawn Hammond. Dawn used to be the CFO of the Southern New England Conference, and then when she retired, I asked her to stay on as special assistant to the executive conference minister to specifically work with our attorneys of all of the historic entities and our legal counsel from Southern New England to sort of work out what might be the process whereby which we can continue to work to become one conference, essentially actualizing the together as one, to make sure that we're being effective, efficient, and we're stewarding the resources of our local churches in the best way, as opposed to a lot of duplication of efforts across those 5 corporations. So Dawn has been doing that work. She's been working with the attorneys of all the historic conferences, trying to find what is the best way forward. So we hope to be able to explain a little bit more about that so that everyone is on the same page. I'll also offer clarity that we'll offer another conversation in relation specifically to Silver Lake and its future. Why are these separate conversations? Because the merger conversation has been ongoing even before the conversation about the board discerning to wind down operations at Silver Lake. And some of the communication on social media, those 2 things are becoming one, almost as if the merger is happening so that a decision can be made about Silver Lake. And I just want to name, they are not the same processes. They can have interrelation to each other, but really becoming one conference from the 5 corporations to 2, that's one conversation that's been happening for years in successive annual meetings. And then there's another conversation about the future of Silver Lake and what might occur in relation to that. So more than happy to have a different conversation about that, to talk about possibilities and options. If I can sneak in to say there is no intent to, some of the things I'm hearing, there's no intent to build high-end housing there or sort of deviate away from the intent of how we have stewarded that property. The goal really was to try to have a partner who might continue some form of outdoor ministry at the Silver Lake site, and that the conference might also have an agreement with them that we also might be able to utilize the property in perpetuity for an outdoor ministry. So that's the hope. I wish that we would all be willing and working together to sort of help uplift some of those potential partners. That's going to be for the best impact of Silver Lake, but also that future generations may also be able to enjoy that site. So there is no desire to just quote, sell to whoever it is. There is the hope that the right partner will emerge, and that the ministry that has been so faithfully stewarded there for decades might continue. So hang in there, friends. We are living in a very polarized time right now. And one of the things I don't want is to have infighting amongst ourselves. We're congregational, so I can't stop that. But I do want to name that our fight, I want to be against the principalities and the other things that are happening, and not necessarily against each other. And if there's anything I can do as conference minister to enter into deeper and more formative dialogue so that we might arrive somewhat on the same page, that's my hope and my intent. So please know, my letter wasn't to chastise or to come down or to stop our covenantal processes from happening. But I did see it as my responsibility as conference minister to offer clarity that we were not dissolving the Missionary Society of Connecticut, but instead asking the conference to vote ultimately on the acceptance of the mergers of all of the other corporations into the Southern New England Conference. Again, that they may all be one, together as one conference. That's the hope. Okay, so look forward to that information coming out about the webinar soon. I just wanted to at least get this out to at least hopefully offer a little bit of balm and a little bit of pause until we're able to be in greater dialogue with each other. Okay, love you. This is still the best role that I've had in my life. Well, maybe now fatherhood is the best role, but serving the conference is a gift to me. Serving all of you is a gift to me. I appreciate the association leaders that I've already spoken to and offered some clarity. Thank you for reaching out. I know other conversations are already also being scheduled for this coming week due to my partial schedule of being on partial family leave, but I welcome those conversations, look forward to them, and look forward to the larger Zoom conversation that anyone can sign up for, and more questions might be answered. Okay, talk to you soon.